Today on Steve Rob Reviews, I'm going to review this gas stove. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open this thing up and see what it looks like inside. Well, this is it right here, and it comes in a nice little case. And I think it's just terrific. I'm going to take all that wrapping off. I'm going to show you how easy these cylinders go in. And I'm going to be doing this the first time like you would if you were to purchase one of these. Now, if you're taking a look at purchasing one of these, I'm going to give you some tips on where to buy them, where to buy the cylinders, and I'm going to tell you something about these gas stoves that I found was quite incredible. So let's take a look next and see how these gas cylinders go in. Well, let's start right here. If you can take a look here, all these stoves all seem to come made exactly the same, with this lever that goes down, and you've got your gas control here and your igniter down here. Now this is how it's shipped, like this, but that's not how you use it. And I'll just show you something. You see that little leg in there? That's meant to interfere with this leg here if you actually try to put this on upside down. And of course, you know, you can see where it's got the supports here where you would put your frying pan on. So that's very well engineered like that. And let's just take a look in here, and you can see this little bit of a tab here. And this tab is meant to correlate with the tab on your gas cylinder. So you just take the gas cylinder cap off, and we just put it in here like this and set it right there. Close the lid and press down on this lever. Now I'll open it up to show you what it does. And what it's doing is it's pushing the gas canister towards the front, which locks it in right here. Now there's many safety features on these different ones, but there's one thing that I really don't like about this one particular, is it's got this raised edge here. You see this little bit of a lip? And it's not really made.
Hey guys, Ernie here, and welcome. We are going to look at a really powerful stove from Boolean Stoves. And initially I kind of stayed away from remote canister stoves. They tended to be heavier and bulkier, and I wasn't as interested in them. The only one I really reviewed early on was the Covea Spider. Well, this is going to be the fourth one that I review here on the channel, and I have a couple more already to review. I'm wondering why it took me so long to get to enjoy these stoves. Okay, so here is our stove. Look at this beast of a stove. You've got your fuel hose. These legs just pop out like this. Man, they just want to fly out of there. You've got basically 3 whole burners. This looks like 3 Pocket Rocket Deluxes thrown into one. Dimensions are 2 by 6 by 3.3. Of course, that's when it's folded up. It weighs 10.5 ounces and it is made out of aluminum. It claims to boil 1 liter of water in 2.5 minutes. That'll be interesting to see. 2.5 minutes. Now, normally I would say, I don't think so. So this thing is crazy powerful. It's kind of like having 3 canister stoves in one. I didn't really realize how powerful it would be. Now, I recently did a 1 liter boil test with a Coleman stove, and it took 10 minutes to get that to a boil. 10 minutes. This took 3 minutes and 5 seconds. This was a full liter. Now, of course, it used quite a bit of fuel. It used 24 grams of fuel to do that. Not surprising given the fact that you're blowing through 3 full burners. So let's talk pros and cons. Of course, the first pro, it is super powerful. I mean, amazingly powerful. Almost kind of scary powerful, to be honest with you. I had to move back the little thermometer display. That's the first time I've ever had to do that. The heat was coming out the side like a freaking roaring lion, and it almost melted the side of it. So it is almost too powerful. For what you get, it's pretty lightweight and it is robust. I mean, what it claims to be able to hold from the standpoint of weight is impressive. It's a very stable platform, and the cost is pretty reasonable given what you're getting. So some of the cons, well, obviously it's not the most fuel efficient stove out there. You're basically burning 3 burners at once, so you're going to use about 3 times the fuel. It's not as compact as you would like it to be, which isn't surprising. I also don't really like the leg design, the way it folds out. It feels wobbly to me. It's not. It's just me probably. I don't like that particular design, that kind of spider type design. But obviously I think they used it because they needed to support so much weight. It doesn't have the best flame control, and it is loud. I mean, like a freaking engine loud. Those 3 burners are roaring, and it's hot, it's kind of scary, and it's really loud. It also has kind of a less than ideal carrying case. I really don't like those with these stoves. If it's still hot, it can pretty much melt it really easily, which I've done with my firebox before. So not the best carrying case. So what do I think about this stove? I think it's kind of a novelty. I mean, it is so powerful. It's not a backpacking stove. It's too heavy to do that. It's almost impractical, to be honest with you. It's not very fuel efficient. I guess if you really want to boil water super, super fast and make sure everybody around you knows that you're boiling water super fast, because this thing's so loud, everybody will hear it. It's probably not necessarily very practical. Thanks for watching, guys.
Well, welcome to the Steve Rob. Today, I'm going to demonstrate this new camp stove, and it's by Coleman. And I'm just going to show you the functionality of it. And guys, all I did was take all the packaging out, put on a 1 pound bottle. Now at my place, I will use it on the 20 pound bottle. Let's get to it, and I'm going to show you some features on this and why I like this stove so much. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the features that it's got. First of all, you notice it doesn't have no wind deflectors on the side here. I didn't want any. I'll be using this indoors. You're not supposed to use these type of things indoors. But of course, yeah, I use it in my camp, and I don't need any side deflectors here. It's just got like a nice little hook here on the top, you know, that just holds this down. And this is the way it will be all the time. I like these top grates. The top grates are just incredible. This is the first time that I'm showing this, but I have tried this particular unit out myself. Guys, this is, I would say, one of the best stoves that I've seen that you can control the temperature with, and it heats terrifically because it's all enclosed inside of this top grill. Now this top grills, the grills do come out. They sell accessories for the Coleman stove here, and the Fire Cadet is a unique one where you can actually buy accessories to barbecue on and that kind of stuff. But for me, I won't be using that. I got it because it's compact, reliable, and it's got the electric start, and that's what I wanted. Well, as you can see, it's just, I think, one of the best stoves that I've seen for adjustability to have your heat down low. And a lot of times, that's what you need. Especially, I use a lot of cast iron cookware, and you don't need a lot of heat, and the other stove just couldn't do it. I want to show you something. This is my kettle here that I have in the house here. And you guys take care. Cheers. Let's have some more fun, right?
Alright, so here we're using the Jetboil Basecamp system. I've used it already for a couple of cooking so far. It does fantastic. It does really, really good. The best thing about it is how compact it is, that you can pretty much put everything to one little pack. We have all our food frozen in the CFX 35 from Dometic, and we have those vacuum sealed. So what we do is we take out the food from the vacuum seal pack, and we just drop it into the boiling water, and it just heats up there, kind of like our microwave. So we don't really got to make too much of a mess or cook anything. Everything came already pre-cooked for the most part, and it's just heating it up. We used on one of the nights some meat that was already cooked as well. It wasn't in a pack, it was in like in a Tupperware. We dropped it on here and just heated it up as well, and some black beans. But it does very good. We had on the first night we got here, it was very windy because of tropical storms and hurricane was developing a little further up. But the winds, we're getting a lot of winds here, so what we did is we put on that plastic windscreens. I'll be showing you guys, but I put on the plastic windscreens, I had a little barrier, and once you put that on, that heat just really kicks up. It's been doing really good. I honestly, so far, I can say that I recommend this. We'll see throughout time as it keeps going as far as how long it's going to last and things like that as far as that quality goes. But I think it does really good. I'll be showing you guys a little bit more things about it as I go on with this and the longevity of it. So I'm not really going to go into the exact details and show you every little thing on this Basecamp system, because I'm pretty sure if you're watching this or seeing this, you've probably already seen a ton of videos on this. So it's just pretty much a real world use of me using it, you know, camping. Keep in mind, I'm not a primitive camper. I'm doing kind of backpack camping or anything like that. We just pretty much do, I guess you can say, clamping. We go to campsites for the most part, and some boondocking areas. But this is what we normally do. So this is for anyone. So it's very small, just carried around, and that's what I'm using to, you know, use to cook the food with. It's great. I don't have to worry about single-use plastic. It's great because I don't have to worry about single-use plastics. I'm sorry, single-use tanks. Saves money because I can just refill it. It's good for the environment. So it just, you know, it has this great carrying case. Just carry it out, take it in and out wherever I need to. and it's just very convenient to use. I don't like those tanks, but yes, you can refill them if you have.
You know, I've been touting this as the tactical campfire. It does have some features for a wood burning stove that give it a tactical advantage over some other wood burning systems like a regular campfire or some fireboxes and stuff like that. But we also took it up to the Sawtooth Mountains, where I actually used it the entire weekend, but I used it to make some bison chili, which was delicious and it was a lot of fun. And it allowed me to use the 2-pot set that you could get from Solo Stove, as well as the tripod system that you could get from them. And it worked out great. I'll show you guys that a little bit later, but right now let's get into the review. So to start off, we'll talk about a couple of specs on the Solo Stove Campfire. They have 3 different sizes of stoves. They have the Light, which is their smallest one. They have the Titan, which is the medium size. And then they have the Campfire, which is this big guy. And then they also have one called the Bonfire, which is like a big fire pit with the same design. It looks super awesome. I'm hoping to get one of those to review. But the specs on the Campfire, they say this is designed to cook for 4 or more people. It's wood burning. You can use sticks, twigs, pine cones, or any other biomass that you could find around that's going to burn. It has low smoke, which kind of falls into the tactical advantage. Because of its double wall design, the Solo Stove Campfire is a natural convection inverted down gas gasifier stove. Pretty much all that means is you see these little holes at the bottom. They pull oxygen in from the bottom, they heat it up on its way up, and it will come out of these holes on the inside, and then that will give it its secondary combustion. For the amount of wood you put in here and for the size of it, this thing cooks. It gets really hot. It's excellent to sit around if you don't have a regular campfire and you just want something for heat. They say it's made out of 304 stainless steel, which I'm gonna be totally honest with you, that really meant nothing to me. Apparently it's a food grade stainless steel, it's awesome. But what I noticed is when I saw pictures and other videos, it just looked like something I could press my thumb into and maybe make a little dent in it. But you cannot dent this thing. This thing is super solid, really strong, and it's only about 2 pounds, which is actually really light for how solid this thing really is. So some of the features that will give this a tactical advantage, we already talked about the low smoke this has because it's essentially burning off the smoke. One of the other things I would say that gives this a tactical advantage is the fact that it doesn't leave much of a trace. I'll show you guys right here. When you're done with your fire, it burns up so much of your biomass that it just leaves you with a little bit of ash. You'll see some black pieces in there, and those are actually pieces that were highly saturated in sap. But even then, it doesn't leave a big mess. If you're to dig a hole and then dump this in there, bury it back up, you really aren't leaving much of a trace. Of course, when you do that, you do want to make sure it is completely burnt out and cool to the touch. Going back to the design, it has really high heat, so it's efficient. It burns the wood completely, utilizing all the fuel that you give it while giving you a lot of heat. So it works really well. I did use this to boil water, but I'm not going to give you guys boil times because that can vary with many different things. But it did boil water very fast for a wood burning stove.